Brittney Griner is on her way back to the U.S. After a prisoner swap that, the Biden administration has been negotiating for all this time since she was arrested in Russia for having some hash in a vape pen. And then she's been held since then, and we've been saying this all year. She's been a political prisoner.
For sure.
The sentence that she got was far too large for what she did, and this was about Russia wanting something, and they got it this morning as we swapped Brittney Griner. The U.S. got Brittney Griner, and Victor Bout, a man who has earned the nickname the Merchant of Death, was given back to Russia. So right now, Brittney is on her way back here. By the way, her wife was at the White House this morning next to President Biden and Vice President Harris, and this is what she had to say about Brittney coming home. There is some mixed emotion about this, and you're going to hear her wife sort of touch on that.
BG's not here to say this, but I will gladly speak on her behalf and say that BG and I will remain committed to the work of getting every American home, including Paul, whose family is in our hearts today. As we celebrate BG being home, we do understand that there are still people out here who are enduring what I endured the last 9 months of missing tremendously their loved ones. So thank you, everybody, for your support. And today it's just a happy day for me and my family. So I'm going to smile right now. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's if there is controversy here, that's what the controversy is. So Paul Whelan is a retired United States Marine who in 2018 was locked up on an espionage charge, which of course he denies. He says he never committed a crime, but that's why he is in prison, and he's serving almost a 2-decade-long sentence. So a lot of people believe, hey, why was Paul Whelan not included in this deal? The United States government has said, look, we tried to do a 2-for-1, but Russia insisted on a 1-to-1 trade, Brittney Griner for Victor Bout. So the United States position is we tried our best, so we took the deal that was available to us. But for a lot of people, that is not acceptable. As a matter of fact, Paul Whelan had a phone interview with CNN recently, and he said that he was disappointed in President Biden that he was not released.
So, by the way, we're going to get more into the Paul Whelan side of this case and what happens and what are the risks in doing these sort of prisoner swaps a little bit later in the show. But for this moment, I mean, clearly you could hear it on her wife's, you could see it on her face, you could hear it in her voice, the joy of having her back. This has been a really difficult time, obviously, for her. And I think the Biden administration felt like they needed to make this happen.
For sure. And
because
I think
there's been
a lot of people thought that they had forgotten about her. The news had died down a bit. It had been some months. We had seen that she had been transferred over to another side of the prison.
To this penal colony.
Yeah, that
she
was supposed
at,
to be a horrible working condition and living condition. So I think a lot of people thought we were just going to watch this play out and she wasn't going to make it back home. And then
if you ask me, I think that whole transferring her to the penal colony, showing her the last time she had a court hearing, they showed her behind bars. I think all of that was done by, again, she was a political prisoner. Don't, call it what you want. That's what it was. And that was done to increase pressure on the Biden administration to make this swap. I think that was, Russia played that the way exactly as they wanted to get this result.
And the administration makes it clear, too, that the circumstances are different. It's not like they just forgot about Paul because Brittney, was more at the forefront or whatever the case may be. But the circumstances were different, and they're not going to give up. And
by the way, I also think that was part of Russia's plan to create this divide, to have people, to make this a situation where there are mixed emotions about Brittney Griner being released. Was she released just because she's a celebrity? And that there are going to be people who are very upset that Paul Whelan is still there. So if you, on the whole here, you might say Russia won this, but you can't help but feel the joy that Brittney's family is feeling today.
And Brittney herself.
As she's on her way. And Brittney,
literally
obviously.
on the plane right now as we're speaking.
Hi, Bree here from Houston. And I just want to say that I do agree she was a political pawn in Russia's game. And I'm just glad she's home, especially as a Black woman myself. But I do agree that in a sense, Russia got what they want. But again, I'm still glad that Brittney is home and that she made it.
Yeah, I just think you can't take that joy away from Brittney or her family.
Not at all. It seems like her wife isn't going to let you either. She said, "I'm a smile today."
Yeah, and I understand that.